all I ever heard was just media stuff, right? American media stuff about Muslims. But I'm like, oh, this girl's like really normal and really nice and really sweet. Like, I'm intrigued. I'm curious about her. I'm curious about her identity. Like, I'm curious about this religion. So me and her started getting closer. I started asking her a lot of questions. So when I was learning about Islam and how like there's only one God, we just worship one God, I was like, oh, like that's what I believe. Salam everyone. I'm on my lunch break at work in the car, and I was thinking, like, I've never done a story time on here. I've also never told my converting to Islam story. I can try to do this not so long. Like, I hope the video doesn't end up being too long, but like it's a story time, so it probably will. Let's get into it. How did I convert to Islam? When? Why? All the things everyone asks me all the time. So I'm 26 years old now, but I converted when I was 18. I was like 18 turning 19, so out of high school, like right out of high school. Basically, when I was 17, I was working in a retail store as like my end of high school job, whatever. And a girl was training me. Like, when I first started working there, a girl was training me on the job. She was a hijabi girl, and I was not too familiar with hijabis because, like, I grew up in a Chicago suburb, but like south suburbs, and it just like wasn't very diverse. Like, there was some diversity, but not really with Muslims. Like, there was not too many Arabs, Desi people. Like, there just wasn't that many Muslims where I grew up. So I did not have too much exposure to Muslims. I didn't grow up around them. Like, I didn't have that exposure. So this girl was a full hijabi, and she was training me at work on the job. And that was like my first interaction with a hijabi. I did have some in my high school, but like two, like very, very select few. I just never really talked to them, whatever. I was in my own world. This girl started training me at work, and she was like teaching me the job and whatever. And she was so chill, like so chill. She was so sweet and chill. And I was like, this girl is so nice. And like, my genuine thought as an ignorant young kid, whatever, I was like, oh, like she's just like me. Like, she's normal, just like me. Like, why does the media, because all I had ever heard was the media, right? Like, that's all you hear growing up in America, Muslims, blah, blah, blah. You hear all of it. So, all I ever heard was just media stuff, right? American media stuff about Muslims. But I'm like, oh, this girl's like really normal and really nice and really sweet. Like, I'm intrigued. I'm curious about her. I'm curious about her identity. Like, I'm curious about this religion. So me and her started getting closer. I started asking her a lot of questions, because she would invite me over to her house, and her family would have me over for dinner. I would hang out with her family all the time, and they were such a normal, chill family. She was Palestinian, but we're talking about religion specifically, but she was Muslim. So that was like my first glimpse into like a Muslim household, a Muslim family. Like, that was my first experience. I got so intrigued and so interested, and I wanted to know more about this, because I, growing up, grew up Christian, but not super religious, like not very practicing. So I always believed in God. I always knew there was a God. For me personally, the Trinity didn't make sense. I never believed in the Trinity. I never believed in Jesus being God. I just believed in God. Okay. So when I was learning about Islam and how like there's only one God, we just worship one God, I was like, oh, like that's what I believe, right? Like, it made sense. So with that being said, I started my research based on everything I learned from this girl, based on everything she was telling me, her family, whatever. And just like, I started my own research on it. I really fell in love with the religion based on my own research. Obviously, as a convert, everyone thinks you're brainwashed. A man did this to you. There was no man in my life at the time when I started learning about Islam. There was no man in my life. I learned about it from this coworker, this girl, and then started doing my own research from there. And then I started meeting one of my best friends now, Hiba. She lives in Dallas. We're like long distance friends because I'm in Chicago, but I met her online because then I started meeting Muslims like online through like Twitter, and back then it was Twitter because this was like 2018. And I just started meeting people. I just started getting connected with other Muslims, and like I just fell into it where I was like, okay, I've always felt lost my entire life. Like something was missing, and I think this is the missing piece. Like everything aligns with me and my beliefs and my morals, and this is what I want, and this makes sense. So I did end up converting to Islam based on my own research. I did meet a guy who was Muslim. I got married to him. We're divorced. I'm not married to that person anymore. Not gonna speak too much on that. But I basically hit a point where I was like I know this is what I want. And this is the life I want to live. This aligns with me. This aligns with my beliefs. This aligns with everything. Like, this is what I want. And I was so intrigued, and it felt so right. Like, it felt like this was the missing piece all along my entire life, what I was missing. So yeah, I converted when I was 18, like about to be 19, and everything just made sense. Everything in my life, alhamdulillah, fell into place when I converted. Like obviously it was not an easy journey by any means. It was not easy. That's a whole other story time I can do of like navigating converting to Islam with non-Muslim family and friends and the whole thing. But alhamdulillah, like I keep saying alhamdulillah over and over, that like ever since I converted, everything in my life just felt like it fell into place. Like all the puzzle pieces were together, the hole was filled, like that like everything just fell into place, and it just made sense, alhamdulillah, and everything just felt right. Like I trusted my heart, my soul, everything felt right, and I knew that that was meant for me. So I'm now, alhamdulillah, Muslim for 8 years now, and happier than ever. Best decision of my life, alhamdulillah.